Welcome to another Hollywood Times Live. Tonight, Darbrielle Thomas interviews Güvenç Özel, a cyberphysical architect, critical technologist, and design researcher, and creator of the Holoflex at Coachella 2023.
Hi, Güvenç. I'm Darbrielle Thomas with the Hollywood Times. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. So seeing your spectacular installation at Coachella, it's really sick, for lack of a better phrase. It's really,
Thank you. Thank
really
you.
beautiful. It sounds like it took about upwards of 2 years to create. That's insane.
Correct.
I know you've been a longtime fan of Coachella. Tell me about the kind of manpower that it took to create an installation like that. Like, where did you even begin?
The project is really actually, I think, three projects in one. If you dissect all the pieces separately, we have the physical sculpture, which is fabricated by Coachella's art program. They have an in-house shop that basically allows you to realize your vision from a physical sense, but also given that the sculpture is about 55, 60 feet tall, I was told that it was like the most complex and largest piece that they have ever built. Wow. And I feel grateful and privileged to have that opportunity, that they have dedicated their time and energy to figure this out with me together. Yeah. And also structurally, the piece is quite complex. It's not like a singular tower or what have you. It folds back on itself. And I'm an architect by training. So we had quite a bit of a dialogue about how to make the piece work in the scale that it was designed. And there was some modifications. And we finally figured out a way to build it. Yeah. And so the interior structure is made out of steel, and it's veneered with plywood. And then on the very exterior, we have this shimmering iridescent fabric, which allows it to interact with light during the day. Yeah. And it also receives and amplifies the projection in the evening.
Right. Yeah.
And the projection content is something that I have done in-house in my studio, with a pretty sizable team. And that is basically quite a large surface area in terms of from a technical perspective, but also I have been working with machine learning and AI algorithms from a design and art perspective for several years now. I teach at UCLA in the architecture department, and we have been researching these new tools for some time. And I thought it's also a great venue and a great opportunity to be able to showcase the most cutting edge of technology. So a lot of our projected graphics are generated through programming AI. Yeah. And then they add an additional layer of I would say dynamism to the entire piece, and it looks much more dynamic and three-dimensional at the end. And we wanted that kind of story arc and that experiential arc from the daytime, when the piece is interacting with light and people are in a way taking refuge in some ways when they're taking breaks to sit in the shade. Yeah. And then as the sun starts to set, we have an additional feature of the piece where we have a series of cameras that are attached to the projectors. Yeah. And the cameras are actually recording and broadcasting beyond the sculpture and projecting it to the opposite end to create this effect as if it is disappearing, as if this massive structure is crystallizing. Yeah. And then afterwards, when the sun sets, the full-blown projections start. And that is in a way intended to contribute to the party vibes, so to say, to have people be energized by it. Yeah. But also be able to still take a break, and while they're taking a break, be mesmerized by the motion and the colors and the patterns.
Yeah. Wow. I have so many questions just off of that description, and forgive me. I say this so positively. That's absolutely insane. And I mean that in the most positive sense of the word. That sounds So fascinating. And just taking in some of the works that you have done, that I've been privileged to either see or research. It seems like they're always like very, very dynamic and ambiguous, meaning that there are so many like multiple definitions for this installation, which that's art, right? But the way that you have that story lined up from the daytime to the nighttime and like telling that story, and Coachella goers actually seeing that experience. I mean, some of them may see it that way, and some of them may not, but just the fact that it stands for that, it's so fascinating. How many people are like, how big was your team to create the Holoflex?
The digital team, the digital production team was about 10 people.
Okay.
And then the physical production team, I imagine that the Coachella team is roughly about 15, 20 people, the production team.
Yeah.
So it's quite a sizable team.
Yeah.
And obviously it requires a lot of patience and collaboration. And you know, in my team, there's a group of, I would say, my team consists of a group of designers, architects, creative technologists, 3D modelers, animators. So it's a pretty diverse skill set that they have.
Yeah.
And actually the production of my studio in a way requires that, because we do not only experiential installations, but also we do two-dimensional animated visuals. Yes. We also produce actually architectural projects, like real, physical building projects. Yeah. So it actually kind of covers an entire spectrum of activity, which I call, in a way, this spatial design. So we create environments for people that they inhabit, that they experience, and that is really the output of the studio.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned the spatial installations, because I really appreciate the kinetic obelisk. Am I pronouncing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really love that design, and what it stands for as far as like representing the human race. I thought that was especially beautiful, especially in this climate. While we are far away from the 2020s of it all, we're still very here. We're still very much in a place in the government of unfairness, unjustness. And I wanted to ask more of that, because I noticed that a lot of your work is very socio-political. I think all art right now should be very socio-political myself. But I wanted to know, is your art, would you classify your art and your installations, such as the kinetic piece, as an outlet for your frustrations with the status quo? Like, is it an outlet for your frustrations with how things are going with government?
I mean, for me, I'm primarily interested in dialogue and intersection of different disciplines. So the work that I do is the intersection of art, architecture, and technology. And I have quite a strong interest towards technology. And I think technology is inherently political, because it gives power to the people that have it, that can use it. It gives them a leg up. It gives them an advantage. It basically allows them to advance in society faster. And there are grave injustices about access to technology, as well as the way in which the economy of technology is evolving. For example, the data economy, and how, if we think about these like large language models, artificial intelligence models, I think the people that actually give access to a lot of their data are socioeconomically underprivileged people. And I find that to be something that needs to be highlighted. And I also believe that, as somebody who works with technology, the message and the use of my projects need to have that kind of connection to the reality, and also highlight those realities. And I think, even in Holoflux, even though Coachella is an entertainment venue, Holoflux actually originates from a 20th century physicist called Bohm, who used to be in Einstein's team. And he was banished from the US for political reasons, and then moved to London. and he started collaborating with a neuroscientist and a philosopher to write one of the first theories of everything. I think we hear that right now so much from, you know, people like Elon Musk and all kinds of other tech visionaries that, you know, that the universe is a holographic projection potentially, that, you know, there's an algorithmic logic in the way in which science operates and what have you. So in a way, that kind of idea originates back to the theory of the holoflux, which Bohm first proposed.
Wow.
And the reason why the piece is in a way kind of this three-prong configuration is that it in a way represents the potential harmony between humans, nature, and technology. And
Wow.
they're in a way kind of like melting together and folding back on itself. We always consider technology and nature as like almost like outside entities to humanity.
Yeah.
Even, you know, like we also consider humanity to be a very divided entity.
Yeah.
So it is intended to, in a way, invoke this message that everything is connected, and you know, we are all connected to nature, and technology is actually an extension of nature through us. Yeah. And it is the next kind of evolutionary steps of nature. So I want to, you know, kind of break away from these dichotomies, these oppositions in a way, and be able to, in this piece, maybe provide a more positive message, because normally my engagement with technology is that I will use it, but I will also be critical of it. Yeah. And I would also be critical of the forces that shape it, and the kind of, you know, the socioeconomic, racial injustices that are embedded within it. Mm-hmm. I think the only way to battle it is through actually being a part of it, by actually having a say in the conversation, by contributing to it, and not through rejecting it. Yeah. And also empowering people that don't have access to it. Wow. So that really is my intent. And, you know, the positive message is really intended to, in a way, inspire the crowd while they are in a very positive environment. And I think Coachella is a very, very unifying, loving place.
Sure.
And I think in that regard, I think it is in a way the true message, because you do feel a certain kind of connection to the very dramatic landscape and to the people around you, through the power of music and the power of art. And I think that's a really lovely place in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, honestly, just really, really fantastic work. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of praise, but I just want to get that off my chest.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, of course. And then as far as your work goes, you're doing a ton of research. You're such a very, very busy man. How do you kind of like maintain and then like recharge your creativity? Mm-hmm. Do you ever take breaks? Mm-hmm. Do you ever take vacation to kind of like disconnect and recharge? Like how do you replenish yourself?
I mean, I haven't, to be very honest with you, in the last year and a half, I haven't really had that opportunity, and that is a huge issue for me right now. But you know, in a way, as you mentioned, I'm a veteran of the festival, and I moved to LA in 2005. Mm-hmm. And when I first moved here, I used to go to the festival every year, and it was a much smaller festival back then, but it was also one of the few festivals in America where you could see a lot of international and diverse group of artists that are, you know,
from all over
stage in the festival. Exactly. Yeah. From all over the world, from all different kinds of backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And that was what I really enjoyed about the festival, is that, you know, of course there's a popular culture angle to it, mm-hmm. but it is not only about, you know, that particular approach. It is also considering multiple different kind of cultural inputs and forms. Yes. Anyway, to make a long story short, you know, I feel like next weekend when I go back to the festival, I have only one day of, you know, press events. And then the rest of the time, I'm going to take those 2 days for myself, soak up the sun,
yes,
you know, soak the music and everything. Yes. And then just enjoy myself.
Please do. I mean, you've more than earned it. You are doing amazing things and amazing things with purpose, amazing things that mean something to folks that look like yourself, folks that look like me. And I really appreciate the great work you're doing. That sums up the questions that I have for the Hollywood Times. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're so busy. Please get some rest soon. Please enjoy yourself next weekend. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. I suggest you subscribe to this channel for the next Hollywood Times Live.